Coming up on Chapman News, all eyes are on the Vatican as the College of Cardinals prepare to elect the next pope.
Federal government funding cuts hitting home here in Orange County, with 2 local health clinics set to close in the coming weeks. We have details.
Pushing limits and breaking barriers. We will share the stories behind Orange County's most inspiring race.
And after a health setback, one Chapman student was forced to stop skiing. See the inspiring story of how she was able to get back on those slopes. Those stories, plus your weather forecast and much more, just ahead.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Welcome back to Chapman News. I'm Kestyn Hudson.
And I'm Maddie Fabricant. Our top story this afternoon: who will be the next leader of the Catholic Church and its more than 1 billion members?
That's right, a historic moment is approaching in Vatican City. The papal conclave begins tomorrow. 133 cardinals from around the world are gathering at the Sistine Chapel. Most of them were appointed by the late Pope Francis, who died on Easter Monday. The new pope will need at least 89 cardinals to vote for him. The voting is done in secret and the ballots are burned each time. Black smoke indicates no one received enough votes, while white smoke signals a new pope has been elected.
Some community clinics here in Orange County are closing due to federal funding cuts. The OC Healthcare Agency says a total of $13 million has been eliminated. As a result, the Children and Family Planning Clinic, dental services, and the Women and Infants and Children program, known as WIC, are all shutting down in Santa Ana. WIC services in Buena Park are also being cut. Critics say the closures will leave many low-income and undocumented families without access to basic yet critical care. Dr. Veronica Kelly, who leads the agency, says the focus now is making sure no one is left behind.
We will continue to provide you the information, and we will make sure that you get connected to a really great provider in the community that can really help ensure the health of your entire family.
Kelly says dental services at the 17th Street Clinic in Santa Ana end today. The Children and Family Planning Clinic will close June 30th.
Your travel checklist just changed. The government's Real ID requirements take off tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, you must present a Real ID when going through TSA security checks at the nation's airports. This is the most significant security policy change since TSA was created after 9/11, when air travel saw sweeping security reforms. Don't have a Real ID? Don't panic. A valid passport or other accepted IDs will still get you through. You can find the full list and information about how to obtain a Real ID by going to tsa.gov.
Book publishers are seeing an increase in sales of the U.S. Constitution. A recent report shows that sales of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Federalist Papers are all up. The director of Concordia University Irvine Center for Civics Education, Dr. Jo Ellen Chatham, says President Trump's second term has some people wanting to brush up on their civics knowledge.
And there are so many lawsuits right now challenging what another branch of government is doing. And so with this hyper polarization, I think people want to know who's right, who's wrong, or who's in the middle about what they can do constitutionally.
To better understand the Constitution, Dr. Chatham recommends heading to the National Constitution Center's website.
Newport Beach is one of several OC cities that is under state pressure to build more affordable housing, but one planned development is getting some community pushback. A developer wants to build a single-family home on the site of the abandoned Newport Bay Hospital. The project is of concern to staff at the nearby Environmental Nature Center, where trees have already been removed. Bo Glover, president and CEO of the Nature Center, says environmental impact is what worries them most.
Future development on that site with traffic, noise of years of construction, runoff, drainage, impact on the wildlife, shading of trees that we've nurtured for decades.
The Nature Center also hosts a preschool with 72 students. Opponents of the housing development say there's a privacy concern if multi-story homes go up next door. Newport Beach's under state mandate to zone for approximately 4,800 new homes by 2029.
The lack of available housing here in Orange County is one reason being cited for rising rents. Housing data shows the average rent in Orange County for a one-bedroom unit has now increased to $2,400 a month. In Anaheim alone, rents are up 2.9% in just 1 year. The state of California has enacted a 10% rent increase cap, which lawmakers hope will provide some relief to renters.
Orange County's Vietnamese American community is marking the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon and the end of the Vietnam War. After the end of the war in 1975, hundreds of thousands of South Vietnamese people fled the communist regime to rebuild their lives. Orange County is now home to the largest Vietnamese community outside of Vietnam, Little Saigon. Tim Nguyen, chairman of the Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce, notes Little Saigon is an economic and cultural force in Southern California.
We're growing so much, we're able to make life and make a better place. And we share that with everyone else.
Nguyen says Little Saigon stands as a symbol of resilience with a population of almost 200,000.
And a portion of the 405 freeway has a new title, paying homage to the contribution of Orange County's Vietnamese American community. The stretch of the 405 between Bolsa Avenue and Bolsa Chica Street is now officially designated as the Little Saigon Freeway. State Assembly member Treetop pushed for the designation. He says it's important for future generations to understand and remember the sacrifices made by the first generation that came to OC.
This weekend's OC Marathon brought more than just running to Orange County. Chapman's Nathaniel Rudolph takes us to the finish line and beyond for a look at the stories that kept these runners moving.
I'm here in Costa Mesa where thousands of runners are lacing up for one of Orange County's biggest athletic events, the OC Marathon. From elite athletes to first-time 5K finishers, this weekend is all about community, perseverance, and far more than getting in a few steps.
The 2025 OC Marathon brought more than 15,000 runners to Orange County. Racers could choose from 5Ks to the full 26.2 miles.
It was great. It's a beautiful course.
So tired, but thumbs up.
I feel good.
While some may have been running alone, they weren't running without support behind them every step of the way.
Are you doing this for anyone, running for anyone today?
Yeah, for my wife right there, who sacrifices a lot to be able to run every morning at 4:30 in the morning. It's a lot of work. So.
Race director Gary Kutcher says the race relies on local input.
A really huge component of this is the run clubs and all of our other community outreach. So it makes it a really successful event when we've reached out and gotten the community involved, and that doesn't just happen right away.
This year's marathon also raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for local nonprofits. However, among the many inspiring stories at this year's OC Marathon, Ainsley's Angels stood out by empowering athletes with disabilities to experience the race firsthand.
What was your favorite part of the race today?
I got a gold medal.
Oh, nice.
Like, I've run a lot of other races by myself and never felt as much joy as crossing the finish line with him.
And with the last runners crossing the finish line and medals in hand, this year's OC Marathon once again proved that every mile has a story. In Costa Mesa, I'm Nathaniel Rudolph reporting for Chapman News.
The Met Gala in New York City celebrated its 78th year with the theme Black Dandyism, a combination of Black culture and European fashion. Actor Coleman Domingo, musician Pharrell Williams, and Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton were some of this year's co-chairs, helping to create the event. The gala celebrated a new exhibit at the Met titled Superfine, Tailoring Black Style.
I'm Courtney Kim. From storm threats on the East Coast to a 90-degree warm-up here in SoCal, I've got your full forecast coming up.
And I'm Assi Hann with the latest on Formula One, hockey team changes, and one student's journey to ski again, all coming up after the break.
that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Spring is here and summer is right around the corner, which means mosquito season has arrived. Here in OC, Vector Control is starting a pilot program to try and get rid of more of those tiny pests. The program is new to Orange County, but not a new technology. OC Vector Control will breed male mosquitoes, which do not bite people, and then sterilize them. They will be released as many as 100,000 at a time, and they will mate with female mosquitoes, but do not reproduce. While the goal is to reduce the mosquito population, Brian Brannon at OC Vector says residents also need to do their part.
It's not a magic thing that's going to get rid of them everywhere, but it will hopefully help reduce numbers. What really would help and what we really need to do is just teach everybody in Orange County to dump and drain standing water wherever they find it, because that's really the only way that we're going to get rid of mosquitoes.
OC Vector provides a free inspection service to Orange County residents. They will inspect your property, identify potential breeding sources, and treat any areas affected by mosquitoes. More information can be found on their website, ocvector.org.
Irvine's Great Park is getting ready to announce some big changes. Irvine will be unveiling new developments at the State of the Great Park event, which the public is invited to attend. Organizers say it will include a unique look at the past, present, and future of the park. There will also be interactive exhibits from community partners, including the Anaheim Ducks and Pretend City Children's Museum. The event gets underway today at 4 p.m.
From cloudy skies to a sudden warm-up, Southern California's weather is taking a turn.
Courtney Kim is here with what to expect heading into Mother's Day. Courtney?
Thanks, Maddie and Kestyn. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Can you believe we're already halfway to summer? But depending where you are, it might not feel like that just yet. Before we get into that, let's check out today's temps here in Orange. We're looking at a mostly cloudy day with a high of only 66 degrees and a low of 57. Not exactly beach weather, but hang tight. We've got a sunny surprise coming later this week. Now let's take a look at the national forecast. While we're staying cool and cloudy here in Southern California, several parts of the country are facing much more severe conditions. A powerful storm system is sweeping through the central and the eastern U.S., impacting areas from central Texas, across the southeast, and up into New England. States like South Carolina, Virginia, and New Hampshire are all under threat, with the potential for damaging winds, large hail, and even tornadoes. And once these storms pass, flash flooding is a real concern in several of those already soaked areas. Back here in Orange County, from Westminster to San Clemente, highs are sticking in the mid-60s today. And yep, you guessed it, there's a slight chance of drizzles over the next few days, so definitely keep that in mind. But don't worry, because we're getting a full weather plot twist just in time for Mother's Day weekend. We're jumping from the mid-60s today all the way up to 90 degrees by Saturday. Mother Nature said, really, not my watch. Temps will rise across Orange and most of SoCal, but a bit of that gloom will still linger. Thursday's looking like our sunniest day, with the clear sky and that sunshine we love and miss so much. Temperatures are expected to dip again next week, but for now, take advantage of the weekend warmth, enjoy Mother's Day with the mother figure in your life, or even head to Irvine's Great Park before renovations begin. But make sure you watch out for mosquitoes. We're halfway to summer and they are not wasting any time. This is Courtney Kim with your weather forecast. Back to you both.
The Honda Center in Anaheim is getting a major upgrade. This will be the new look. The project is called Honda Center Encore, and the planners call it a complete revamp. It will include new restaurants, renovated luxury suites, parking garages, and a 5-story glass entrance with a LED screen. The owners of the Anaheim Ducks will fund privately the project, which will cost an estimated $1 billion. The new and improved Honda Center will be the focus of OC Vibe, a major new entertainment district that will include new apartments, a hotel, and performance venues. From major upgrades in Anaheim to major moments in sports, it's been a big week.
That's right, and our sports anchor Assi Hann has the latest. Assi?
Thanks, Maddie and Kestyn. Sports everywhere are seeing some serious shakeups. The LA Kings, who were eliminated this past weekend from the Stanley Cup playoffs, are making a change at the top. General manager Rob Blake has left the team. He led the Kings to the Stanley Cup playoffs 5 times, but never won the championship. With Blake out, the team has yet to announce a replacement, but coach Jim Hiller says the shakeup won't impact team operations. It was lights off and away we let go at the Miami Grand Prix, and fans are calling it the most memorable race weekend so far. The race weekend started with some exciting news. Max Verstappen welcomed a baby with girlfriend Kelly Piquet. On race day, drivers started the day with a unique twist as they all rode in life-size Lego replicas of their cars. Finally, McLaren finished with a 1-2 podium, with Oscar Piastri in first place and Lando Norris following behind. This has put Piastri in first place in the driver's standing and kept McLaren at the top of the Constructors' Championship. From big hats to big numbers, the Kentucky Derby shattered records this weekend. NBC says over 21.8 million people tuned into the race, making it the most watched Derby to ever air. Celebrities like Simone Biles, Guy Fieri, and Alex Earl donned the race with dashing hats and outfits. However, it was not only the stars that stole the show. Each horse is a descendant from the famous racing horse Secretariat. On race day, Sovereignty won the 151st Derby and was followed by race favorite horse Journalism. Now, an inspiring story of how one Chapman student overcame a health challenge to get back to her sport. I sat down with her to hear how she's making her comeback. Take a look.
Losing the ability to ski was more heartbreaking to me than losing the ability to walk.
That's how junior A.K. Nelson felt when she learned that she would no longer be able to ski. A.K. started skiing as a young child and said that she loves the sport.
So the idea that I could go fast was like, I wanted to be, it was free.
However, all that changed when she was 12 years old and diagnosed with Still's disease. It's a rare type of inflammatory arthritis. At one point, AK had a flare-up that was devastating, causing her to stop her skiing career.
So I continued to ski until I literally couldn't. I would do like 1 run a day because it was like all I could handle.
At first, she was heartbroken. Her family and partner encouraged her to try sit skiing, which was difficult to adapt to.
I hadn't really even processed the loss, and so it was like every day that I got up and went to the adaptive lesson center and got in that rig, it was like just throwing it in my face all over again.
However, she continued to train and eventually competed in her first official sit ski season, where she placed in multiple competitions and even competed in nationals.
Well, it was my first ever FIS medal. I never even won a FIS medal as an able-bodied racer. Yeah, it was just like opening a whole new world.
Continuing her skiing journey and hoping to compete in the Paralympics by 2030. If you would like to support AK on her journey to ski again, you can check out her GoFundMe page at gofundme.com/helpalexaskiagain. And that's all I have for the latest sports roundup. For Chapman News, I'm Assi Hann.
Donuts, conversations, and connection. How one weekly meetup is giving some OC men the space to talk about what really matters. More on the story coming up.
I'm Czerena Martinne Bayle. Coming up, Chapman alums moving film about a resilient community, about the resilience of a historic Hawaiian community destroyed by wildfire.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
Like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers, he connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
It is that time of year, graduation season. Experts say this year, the class of 2025 is facing a job market that is tougher than last year. Our Gray Song spoke with Chapman students about their post-graduation plans.
Commencement is all about celebrating students' achievements and looking ahead to the future. Abby Guzman is graduating with a degree in environmental science and policy. She tells me her on-campus jobs have been helpful in preparing for entering the working world.
I would say it's definitely taking advantage of their work study jobs just because that was what was offered to me, and that kind of gave me an access to not just like retail or something that maybe doesn't require like a lot of specialized experience.
Health science student Michael Fong plans to pursue his doctorate in physical therapy. He shares his advice for current students.
Just have fun. Trust the process. I think when you first come in, you're a little bit scared about trying to get everything figured out and settled. I think you can take it year by year and have a good time.
Lisa Chow is with Chapman's Career and Development Office. She says new graduates should not put too much pressure on themselves.
So I think there's a level of being patient with yourself as you're applying to these different jobs and internships and positions, because the job search process realistically can take some time.
Chow also advises students to take advantage of campus resources, including resume and networking workshops. This is Grace Song reporting for Chapman News.
Some military veterans and first responders have been diagnosed with anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. Service dogs can help them adjust. One Orange County veteran has made it his mission to help his fellow vets. Andy McTeague is the president of Veterans Canine Intelligence Academy in Irvine, a nonprofit that helps veterans and first responders train their service dogs. He says the organization serves as a way to give back to veterans.
We are here to help those that are in need. And there are a lot of people out there in need. Some of them come to us just to have a good citizen, and that's fine, so that they're not embarrassed when they're walking their dog. We're here to make people feel better about walking their dogs.
McTeague provides the training free of charge. Service dogs will learn simple commands such as touch hand, which can help a veteran remain focused when they experience anxiety. If you would like to learn more, check out veteransdogtraining.org. McTeague and other service dog trainers meet every Thursday and Sunday at 10 a.m. in Baker Ranch Park in Lake Forest.
Rescue dogs in Thailand are bringing comfort to families following a deadly earthquake in Myanmar and Thailand late last month. The collapse of a 30-story building in Bangkok triggered by a Myanmar earthquake resulted in at least 20 deaths, and 77 people are still missing. This is where the rescue dogs come in. Beyond their search efforts, they also provide support to grieving families.
It's LA Climate Week. This year's theme is future-proofing and resilience.
Those themes are reflected in the work of a Chapman Dodge College alum whose documentary is focused on climate change and community resilience. Our reporter Czerena Bayle has more. Czerena?
Thank you, Kestyn and Maddie. Laurel Tamayo's documentary titled Healing Lahaina follows the story of her family, who lost their multi-generational home in the 2023 Lahaina wildfire in Hawaii. I spoke with Laurel about her journey as a climate activist and filmmaker. Take a look. While attending Chapman, Laurel Tamayo studied environmental science and minored in documentary film. Laurel says her interest in climate change issues started while she was studying abroad in New Zealand.
Seeing how New Zealand dealt with different issues in terms of like the environment and in terms of Indigenous people, I think that made it like easier for me to then look at Hawaii and be like, oh, these are places that we could also be doing better.
Healing Lahaina is the first film Laurel directed. Its themes include community resilience and healing. Laurel says she had 3 main goals in mind when making the film. The first goal was to spread awareness. The second, to reduce the stigma around mental health and natural disasters.
And then the third impact pillar was encouraging climate resilience. And so that meaning being more prepared for when climate-related disasters happen. And so we are trying to pair a lot of our community screenings with disaster preparedness workshops.
With Healing Lahaina, Laurel hopes to uplift her island community and connect with audiences around the world. Joining us live in the studio today, we have Healing Lahaina director Laurel Tamayo. Laurel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Our first question for you is, how have the people of Lahaina responded to this film, and what role did they play in its creation and outreach?
I think with this film, something I was really wanting to be cognizant of is making sure that the people, the subjects that were in it, approved of it, because ethical filmmaking is something really important to me. And so all of my family members and the community members that were in the film had the opportunity to watch a rough cut of it and let me know if there's anything in it that they didn't want to represented to be taken out. And so having their approval and acceptance of it was really important to me, and my family came to the world premiere on Oahu and they loved it, and so that was honestly all I needed to know. And since then it's been really great to hear people in Hawaii telling me how much they appreciated the film and how impactful it was to them.
Definitely. And then what do you hope LA and other urban centers kind of like learn from disasters?
Yeah, so we actually had a preview event of Healing Lahaina in September of last year in LA, and we actually told people how to pack a go bag and how to sign up for emergency alerts and all of that. And then in January we had the LA fires, and after that people were reaching out to us telling us that because they had attended our event in September, they had a go bag ready when they had to evacuate in LA. And so just knowing that it had that kind of impact really means a lot to me, and we hope that we can continue to have that kind of impact.
Definitely. And again, Laurel, thank you so much for joining us today. You can follow them at Healing Lahaina Film on Instagram for more updates. I'm Czerena Bayle. Back to you.
In Fullerton, a unique support group is giving men a place to open up about mental health without pressure, or judgment. Our reporter Courtney Kim takes us inside Dudes and Donuts.
Run by the nonprofit agency High Hopes Counseling, the program started with one simple goal.
The original Dudes and Donuts group was created by a guy that I think was just interested in providing something for men in mental health.
Over coffee and donuts, group leader Mark Schwartz, a therapist in training, leads the group discussions where topics range from relationship struggles to coping with everyday stress. He says the group helps fill a gap that exists because of how men are taught to process their emotions.
There's people who have questions, and a lot of them are guys, and culturally there's not a lot of support for asking those types of questions.
For attendee Robert Pillen, the group has been more than just a weekly meetup. It's helped him feel less alone and more open with the people around him.
It's just helped me try to realize how I should be able to express myself more openly to people in my immediate surroundings. I think it would be great if men would learn to share their feelings more freely and with other men, and they would be able to communicate better.
It's a small space, but the impact is big, helping men express themselves, build trust, and start conversations that often go unsaid. This is Courtney Kim reporting for Chapman News.
National Teacher Appreciation Day, and we're highlighting a teacher in the Orange community. A live report coming up.
Also, Mother's Day is almost here. We honor all the special moms of the senior Chapman News class. They have quite the stories to share. Stay with us.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Good afternoon. I'm Natalie Ross. And I'm Samantha Thomas.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chapman News. I'm Steve.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Chapman News.
Since 2010, Chapman News has been covering weather, entertainment, sports, politics, and news, broadcasting from Dodge College's Marionette Studios.
As the only live newscast in Orange County, our journalists aim to highlight local, statewide, and national communities.
We're here to provide the most accurate, engaging, and relevant news for our community.
Tune in to our nationally recognized and award-winning newscast, Chapman News.
Watch locally on Channel 6 or on our YouTube to stay updated with the latest.
Sunday is Mother's Day and a time to say thank you to our moms. Here at Chapman News, we sat down with each mom as we heard them recount what their favorite memory of their senior is.
One of my favorite memories with Yasmine was during her freshman year of college. She came home for the weekend and we went to see her high school's performance of Mamma Mia. The next day, just hours before showtime, the director called in a panic because they had many more cast members out sick. And she asked if Yasmine could step in as Rosie in the role that she never got to perform. And I was just in awe. It was an emotional and powerful moment and literally nothing I will ever forget. And watching her finally get that was super priceless.
My favorite memory that I had with Loren is she was about, 6 years old back then. She's a big Laker fan. And every time, they lose the game, she cries. And so I find it too cute. And I even told her that I'm going to take a picture of you and I will send it to Phil Jackson, who is the manager of Lakers at the time. And I said, I'm going to let him know they have to win every games they have so that you won't be crying again.
My favorite memory of Ben is when he was like 3 and he had memorized every single capital of the states in all 50 states. And he was so proud. He knew every capital. But my favorite was Louisiana. And you would tell Ben, what's the capital of Louisiana? And he would look at you so proud and say, Satin Rouge. He could not say Baton Rouge, and so he thought it was Satin Rouge, and that was very funny.
One of my favorite memories of Kestyn is when she was probably 4 or 5 years old, and we were walking over to get into a hot tub. And as she's getting into the hot tub, she says, every time I get in the hot water, it kind of makes me pee a little bit. And all these people sitting in the hot tub, their eyes just got big. I'm like, I am so sorry.
So my favorite memory that I have with Czerena was when she was, I think, around 3 years old. She wanted to have her hair cut. So I told her, honey, I'll be right with you. I'm just doing something right now. So she walked out of the room. And then a few minutes later, I went to check in on her. And all I saw was a bald spot on her head because she had cut her own hair.
I have a lot of favorite memories of Xavier, but one that I thought of in particular is one Valentine's Day when he was in middle school. He took it upon himself to walk to the gas station. He bought a rose and he cooked dinner for me. One thing that stood out to me that absolutely made my day and brought me to tears was when he said, "I love you, Mom, you will always be my #1 rose."
So Lisa and I share many beautiful memories. When she was little, one of the sweetest times was reading bedtime stories together. Since she started college at Chapman, the most precious moments have been our FaceTime calls. When I look back on all of this, I don't just feel like Lisa's mom. I feel like her close and trusted friend.
One of my favorite memories of Prinny is the moment they brought her to me for the first time after she was born. She was the first baby born on Christmas Day at the hospital, and they had her bundled up in a little Christmas stocking. Everyone was celebrating her. It felt like all magical. She's everything I ever hoped a daughter could be and more. I love you, baby.
Thank you, senior moms. Happy early Mother's Day. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, a time to recognize the hard work and dedication of educators in our communities.
Chapman reporter Loren Joy de Los Santos is live on the campus of California Elementary School here in Orange to show us how students and staff are celebrating today. Loren?
Thanks, Kestyn and Maddie. I am here at California Elementary School in Orange for National Teacher Appreciation Day, where I am joined by Miss Stephanie Santel and her 6th grade class. Thank you for joining us, Miss Santel.
Absolutely, welcome.
I'm going to ask you the first question. So I'd love if you could just talk to me about your educational journey. What inspired you to become a teacher in the first place?
So I always knew that I wanted to work with children. I originally went into a psychology major thinking that I was going to go down that route, but then it led me into teaching. And I'm just inspired not only by students every day that make my job so easy in many ways, but I just love putting smiles on kids' faces and making sure that I inspire them to be better humans.
So I know we're coming up to the end of the school year. I know that means that you've had these 6th graders for most of the academic year. What has been your favorite memory with this class so far?
Well, my favorite memory, they are a fun class. There's a lot of energy here. So I like that they can take jokes, that they can definitely be charismatic, but we haven't really gotten to the most fun yet because we are going to outdoor ed next week and Disneyland, and that's where we really shine and develop our relationships in that kind of environment where I don't have to be the strict teacher.
What has been the most fulfilling part about being an educator and a teacher?
The most fulfilling part is just watching students grow and the aha moments that they get when they finally understand something, and just watching them come back to me and tell me how successful they are and how I made an influence in their life.
I'm actually going to pass it on over to the students. So I have 5 wonderful 6th graders here to answer this one simple question. I'm going to have them say their name and their answer, but I'm going to ask you guys, what is your favorite part about being Miss Santel's teacher or student? Excuse me. I'm going to start with you.
She really pushes us to work harder.
Same thing of her, but also like she can be a really fun teacher sometimes.
She can be pretty nice most of the time, except for when she's yelling.
She's always nice and she always helps.
And then
she helps a lot, and she is really kind, except for when she screams also.
Well, thank you guys so much for talking to us about National Teacher Appreciation Day, and thank you again, Ms. Santel. It has been a wonderful time here at California Elementary School. Now, if you're still in school, maybe you just recently graduated, or maybe you're not in school anymore, make sure to appreciate all of the teachers and educators that you know today and every day. I'm Loren Joy de Los Santos reporting. Back to you, Kestyn and Maddie.
I think this is the cutest Chapman News ever. Thank you for watching Chapman News. I'm Maddie Fabricant.
And I'm Kestyn Hudson. Join us next week for the last Chapman newscast of the semester.